California Governor Gavin Newsom signing a new law doubling taxes on guns and ammunition in the state. The law adding another 11% tax on top of the ones the federal government takes in on firearm sales across the nation, and making California the only state with its own tax on guns and ammunition.
The money raised from the increase in revenue will go toward more security at public schools and various violence prevention programs. The law says the first $75 million of that money must go to the California Violence Intervention and Prevention Grant Program. State officials estimate it will generate about $160 million annually. With us now, Michel is the president of the California Rifle and Pistol Association. Chuck, welcome. Thanks for coming on. What do you think about this law?
Gun culture. He wants to price people out of the market. If these programs were so important, it's $150 million out of a $310 billion California budget. If these were so worthwhile, why did he do them before?
Do you think there will be challenges to this law, or will there be challenges, and what could those be, Chuck?
Well, this is basically a poll tax. I mean, buying a gun, acquiring a firearm to defend yourself or your family or for sport, that's a constitutional right, just like voting. So you can't charge people to exercise their constitutional right. And there's been some litigation in Illinois about this. Similar tax there was struck down, and it's still in litigation. But yes, we will be challenging this, along with several of the other almost 24 bills that he signed yesterday, all designed to make it more expensive and put more red tape in the way of choosing to acquire a firearm to defend yourself or your family.
Well, there might be a lot of people joining in with your efforts. If the estimated, money raised is in the hundreds of millions of dollars here, a lot of gun owners in California who might take issue with this. Gavin Newsom defended, though, his decision to sign the bill yesterday. Here's part of that press statement.
This is not a general income tax, not a corporate tax. This is not, this is, from my perspective, more of a sin tax where there's a cause and effect and justification. The health-related costs, the cost borne by the taxpayers for gun violence is off the charts. Any fiscal conservative should be making that case. The cost of prosecution, defense, the cost of incarceration of people involved in gun violence is extraordinary.
Chuck, your response to that statement?
Well, he calls it a sin tax. The problem is that the law-abiding folks who are buying a gun for sport or self-defense aren't the sinners. They're not the ones committing the crimes. They go through a background check. They jump through all the hoops to get these guns, and they don't go out and commit crimes. The criminals who get these guns, often illegally on the black market, are the ones who are committing the crime. And so this should be coming out of the general fund, because it's a police activity to fight crime, criminals who happen to be using the tools of their trade, which is typically an illegal firearm, to commit that violence. What this really does is make it harder for people to get a firearm to defend themselves. And so the people who are victimized by these kinds of things are the folks who become victims because they don't have the option, they don't have a chance to defend themselves, because when seconds count, police are just minutes away.
Before we go, Chuck, can you tell our viewers a little bit about your organization and what it provides?
California Rifle and Pistol Association has been in business for almost 150 years. They have lobbyists in Sacramento that keep an eye on things there, and we are active in almost 24 lawsuits across the state of California, striking down some of the ill-conceived gun control laws that have accomplished nothing to make us any safer. And one of those just a couple of days ago was a victory in a lawsuit that struck down the state's ban on the possession of magazines that can hold over 10 rounds. But we have several dozen of those lawsuits going on. Unfortunately, it's kind of become a focus of the organization because we'd rather be spending money on safety programs, junior shooting, recreational shooting, range development, things like that that make people understand how fun the shooting sports can be and how valuable a firearm can be as a self-defense tool.
All right, Chuck, Michel joining us with that. Chuck, thanks for that conversation.